All right, so we are going to be officially live right now. We should get the notifications. Let me go to YouTube here. Because I do like everything on my computer, then I do the actual chat and stuff on the phone. So that way I can keep up with everything. All right, the live stream is official. All right. So we will give people a few. I'm going to go tweet this link out over Twitter real quick. So let me share this. All right, so let's do Twitter. All right. Here we go. Get the tag out here real quick. TLP. All right. And that's out on Twitter. Let me just make sure it went through. Says your tweet was sent. Sorry, guys, I'm missing the chat right now. As soon as I verify this tweet went through, I will be back checking the chat real quick. All right, cool. So they can go to my Twitter. I tagged everything. They can click on that link and boom, bring them right to the YouTube here. So that's good. All right, what do we got here? All right, we got a couple people hopped in. We got Cable, High Risk, Sean, Lawrence, JH. Welcome in, Aaron. Hey, William, what's going on, brother? One of my moderators there. William Hazelton, one of the Facebook people there. And you probably heard of Cable. He's on Twitter a good bit. You probably heard of Cable. He's in here. All right. William shared it on Facebook as well. I know it's a little late on the Eastern Standard Time, but hey, we're making it work. Hey, we got Thomas Du Bois in here. Welcome in, brother. So this will be a good little live stream. Wow, Pat says he's in from Hawaii checking in. That's one thing I like about these live streams. I know, man. How cool would it be to be in Hawaii right now? We should be planning a trip in Vegas to be celebrating.
I can't wait for Vegas, my friend.
Oh, my God. It's going to
Let this all clear over. I know one day we'll be in Vegas. We'll be all together.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. Lawrence Daly with the famous question, when divvy? The when divvy famous question.
When moon.
Yeah.
When Lambo.
All right, so we'll give it another minute or so. People's pulling in here. It's pretty good. All right. And then as people come in here, yes, this is Mr. Bjammin. If you don't know, he's been in my last couple of videos. This is the man that met Mr. Jim Cramer in person. And that sign there beside him, as you see, is the famous sign, guys. That's right. As I said, this gentleman is not AI generated. He is real. He's a real person. He's here in the flesh. He has the famous sunglasses on that was on in the meet and greet there. And you see his shirt there? We got a little MMTLP. We got the FINRA there. We love it.
Keeping it light, keeping it entertaining, and you will be seeing the sign and new signs to come. I'm looking for something forward to. I'm going to be doing something crazy, something entertaining, something to keep it light, something to keep the community happy, something to keep our name going forward. We're going mainstream. We're going viral. MMTLP is going to take over the world.
Absolutely, man. I love the energy, brother. I love it. I love it. All right, so I think we'll get ready to get started here. First, I want to start out, welcome our buddy Bjammin here on the live stream with me. And I want to welcome all the YouTube chat, people popping in from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're popping in at. Thank you for joining in. And this live stream is going to be focused on Bjammin's experience of the Jim Cramer situation. He's going to go over the days before it happened, the day of during it happened, what happened. We went over this last night, and I'm telling you, you all are going to love this story. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Bjammin. So let's start out first with, how did you first know Jim Cramer was going to be there, and how did you plan leading up before you went there?
Well, a few weeks prior to the Jim Cramer going to where he was. He actually had been tweeting out that he was doing a few different type of bottle signings in the area. So I was thinking about it prior, and I just let it, fall by the wayside. But then he went on CNBC and he trashed the community. He trashed us as investors. He called us, not intelligent. He said that we do not know what we're doing, and we 100% know what we hold. We know what assets that MMTLP, that Torchlight Energy have, and what potential is in that ground. And so I felt, Mr. Cramer, you wanted to say that about us. I feel I'm not, I can come over to you and have a little fun with it. So I saw that he was going to be in the Smithtown area, Long Island, Suffolk, New York. And I was like, why not stop on through? So very entertainingly, my girlfriends made a little sign.
Welcome in.
Say hi to the world, say hi to the community. This is the lady behind the sign.
We need to get her holding the sign real quick since she made it.
They want you to hold the sign.
There we go. Welcome in. Don't be shy.
Hold the sign. Hold the sign.
All
there
right.
It is.
Hold her up
the
just a little
lady
bit.
Behind the sign.
Hold her up just a little bit. There you go.
There's always a woman behind the sign.
That's right.
There's always a woman behind the sign. That is true.
That is definitely true.
I just wanted to, go over there, make it light, entertaining, tell Mr. Cramer how we really felt.
Yeah.
So Mr. Cramer was over there in the Smithtown, Long Island, Suffolk area at a wine bottle signing. So I went over there and just, introduced myself, said, nice to meet you, kept it very civil, very calm, wanted to have respect for the community. We want to make sure we put our best foot forward.
Absolutely,
always. And I just very simply asked him if FINRA sees no issue in what's happening with us, then why won't they release the blue sheets? And Mr. Cramer, he felt a little blindsided. He didn't know I was coming.
Yeah.
It was not something that I talked to him about before. So he didn't really have an answer. He thought of something really quickly. He compared the company, to the mob. Obviously, he doesn't know our backstory. I don't expect him to know our backstory.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, him and CNBC were told him that we need you to do a hit piece. We need you, like the Wall Street Journal, just the day before, like Forbes prior. All they want to do is send out a bad message about what is happening with us, because they know that what is happening to us. They know the truth. And I don't think Cramer does. I will give him that. But for fun, I went over to Mr. Cramer because he did mention us on CNBC, and I asked him a couple questions. I asked him why FINRA can't release the blue sheets, if there is no issue. If I bought something a year plus ago, then how come it hasn't been delivered to me?
Yeah.
And if it hasn't been delivered to me, then what is the holdup? And he simply said that FINRA feels that we are part of the mob, or the company is part of the mob. And it obviously that didn't really stick. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But okay. So then I asked him a couple more questions. I did ask him, it seemed like the day that you talked about us in CNBC, someone handed you a bunch of pieces of paper that you were quickly going through as you were saying your new favorite stock, MMTLP. Who gave you those people? Talk about us that day, that important day. That was one day before the congressional meeting with FINRA, one day before Mark Basile was entering his reply to, for our petition. And his answer to that question was, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I don't want to get in trouble. So at that point, I knew that a Q&A wasn't going to go anywhere. I just was there for entertainment, for fun, something light, something to throw back to the community, something that I could bring to everyone. I make my calls to Congress. I send my emails. The least I can do is do something fun and light and entertaining, something that might go viral. And look, here we are. And let me tell you this sign is fun. It's entertaining, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And and I foresee that not just me, but others in the community will be doing things going forward to bring light to the entire world, to know what our struggles are, what we care about, what we need, because there are people struggling in this community.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to make, and not just for me, not just for you, but for everybody. We're one, we're whole, and we are going to triumph because this truth is on our side. We bought something, it was never delivered to us, and they don't have answers. So if it takes a sign, if it takes calls, we will continue. We will continue, and we will pursue, and we will triumph. Everybody, we will be partying in Vegas. I can't wait to see everybody in the community.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, man, people love it. And we have a couple comments here. We'll go over those a little later. But yeah, man, we were talking about that, and I actually got the video. Now, like I said, that'd be up to you if you'd want that shared out there. I would do that in a whole separate video so people could see the whole interaction of that, because it was pretty cool. At the end of that video where you were telling me, you could see where like the security was stepping in and trying to force you, like, hey, your time's done, buddy. It's time to go.
Well, again, they didn't really have security. They had a couple of people working the area, and they just saw Cramer's body language.
Yeah.
He was not comfortable.
Yeah.
And I understand why. And again, it's nothing against Cramer. I doubt he even knows what is really going on. Was told what to say.
Yep.
And he follows his script. He follows.
What I really like about this whole situation with this is that he's held accountable for words that he said on TV. A lot of people will bash stuff and talk about stuff, but this time he got, in a sense, confronted in a very respectful manner. You just asked him a straight, honest question, and not a script given. You're going off the fly, and he just didn't know what to say when not given a script. You could tell he's used to getting a script and reading off that script, and you make comments like that, and you're going to be out and about in the public. Well, we may go up to you and basically confront you and ask you some questions on the fly. So I like that. If these people on TV is going to make these comments, well, you might just get a visit from someone in the community, because we're all over, man. We got community members all over. So
I agree.
Whether we're
but
in
I
DC,
do feel that if anybody approaches anybody, it has to be done in a professional, respectful way. We can't do anything to jeopardize our face. No. We need to stay, because the truth is on our side, and that's all that matters.
Cable
we
here,
will based on that.
Cable made a good point here. He said, we all should make up signs and just start showing up in the background of live news broadcast.
Exactly.
Which is what we did in DC.
I know Hannity does a live stream. I wanted to go streaking with MMTLP dressed all over my body. I'm giving away what might happen in the future. But again, why not? ESPN does live feeds at sporting events.
Yeah.
Why not have signs? I know on a side, I'm a big fan of the Music band Fish,
Okay.
Phish, Fish. People all the time bring Fluffhead, one of their songs called Fluffhead, and it's so entertaining to see a Fluffhead sign spread all over because, like the Grateful Dead, we're everywhere. Just like Fish, just like Grateful Dead, just like MMTLP or Metamaterials. We are a large investing group that knew what we were doing, and we've had something stolen from us. We've had something taken away, and all we're asking for is what we're owed, and without the nefarious actions that others have committed. Is that so wrong when we're working 9 to 5 jobs, paycheck to paycheck in this atmosphere, in this economy? Is it so hard to let the small guy win one?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we knew what we bought. We knew what we held. We know what's in that ground. And come on.
Yeah.
Just
I
because
know.
BlackRock and Vanguard have one, they can't take one loss.
Yeah. And it's going to be time. It's going to be I think like John Burden mentioned before, they're not just going to hand it over to us. They're going to put up a fight. And I know like Mr. Mark Basile said that they'll go for this for a long time. Whether it takes through the courts, in and out of the courts, they will fight until they finally get what's needed. How long is that going to take? We don't know. But we're not going to give up. We're not going to go anywhere. Of course, we all have our down days. We have our up days. As you said, we're just average Americans. We're blue-collar workers here. We all have real-life problems and things like that. So we just want to get what was owed to us. This wasn't a blind side. Like this whole MMTLP, I believe like it was 6 months in advance when the first corporate notice was out that, this is going to be ending. The short squeeze notice was out there. I got videos all about it. You may want to close your positions because short squeeze potential could happen. And they never even started to do any of that, leading from the first notice through the 4 or 5 amendments and all that. And the S1s that get approved, everything was approved. They approved it. Then they, backtrack on their own approvals, which is what really is messed up. We had the whole controversy of Mr. Jeff Mendel, the OTC president, where he's on TV talking about it's going to be deleted, but at that time of the recording, it was only canceled, and then it literally gets deleted like the next day or two after that. How did he know it was going to be deleted and not canceled? And that is the one word they changed in that filing. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that surrounds this whole last month or 2 weeks of the MMTLP trading. So now we just, this ticker has got so much recognition. I mean, we were on Fox Business a handful of times with Charles Payne. Now you guys showing up here. It's just going all over. It's been on it's an amazing journey, and people in the community here is just stepping up and still keeping it like out there this day. I believe we're 100 and let me pull up my thing here.
86, 87.
I think it's 187. I just retweet 188 actually.
188.
188. Yeah, Rare DD. He does those updates every day. I just looked, and today is 188 days since the U3 halt. That is insane.
It just shows that what you just said, they had no intention. They knew what was going on. We got the FOIA requests. We got the FOIA that shows that they pulled the blue sheets a week before. It hit their investigations fraud team a year before. They knew what was happening. I feel that when the OTC chairman came out on, he was signaling to his buddies, again, that you are in the clear. You can do what you want. You could bring it down to that. I don't even want to state the number.
Yeah.
Because that number means nothing. They could have brought it down to 1 penny.
Yeah.
They could have done whatever they wanted, and they had no intention of covering it at all.
And I think just off the top of my head, I think there was like 13 or so million shares that day. And like over 13 or so million, and then like 9.5 million was short.
Correct.
I mean, like, how? On the
Right.
last day when you're supposed to be closing short positions, you're still shorting on the last day. It just doesn't make any sense.
And again, even that right there, if there's no issues and FINRA wanted and the regulators want to say, hey, we'll close out that, open it up, close out what you need to. If there's only that many, then it shouldn't be an issue. But we know and they know, and that's where we stand.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be a fight, and we need to stay strong as a community. We need to stay together, and we need to make our calls. We need to pressure Congress, because Congress right now is our one true savior. And I know that's the toughest thing. Is Congress moves very slowly, and they stonewall you. And I know there's a new gentleman who's trying to set up Mark Rose.
Yeah, he was pretty active a few days ago. Let me go on Twitter.
Right. He's in West Virginia, and he's going up against Joe Manchin, which is it's a tough road ahead for him. But we do have a person fighting for us, and we need to give him all the support we can. And we need to make sure that we do get Berta, we do get Andrew in front of somebody, and at least open communications, because that's the only way we go forward.
Here's kind of a funny tweet from the Glass guy on June 8th. It says, "Wake up, America. We caught them in a crime. Do you remember Madoff? Do you remember Enron? Join us and demand a share count and let American public know the truth." And here is the thing. Why is Jim Cramer's new favorite stock MMTLP? MMTLP has been deleted since December 13th, 2022. Did he tell you that FINRA is fighting to protect the share count of this frozen in time stock from becoming public? Or did he call it a meme stock that went bad? Over 130,000 acres in West Texas, with the biggest oil discovery in 30 years, learn what they are trying to hide. That is pretty good.
No, that's accurate. It's right to the point.
Yep, you're right. Yep, Chris Rose, for U.S. Senate, West Virginia. Yep, Chris Rose. Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Had to pop over on Twitter here and get that, because that was going to bug me if I couldn't confirm it. But I can confirm it was Chris Rose. All right, so a little bit back to this story. You went over the kind of the overall thing. Let's talk about how was your nerves, man. It had to be the excitement, the nervousness, the jitters, the shakes, all the sweat in the palms.
And that's kind of the reason why I didn't post the whole video, because like you said, I just winged it. I went in there. I thought about it a million times in my head. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? How am I going to get the sign in without him seeing it or anybody around seeing and be like, okay, we have a situation. We can't, and being thrown out right off the bat. So yes, the nerves were going through me. I tried to hold as much composure as I can, but once I got those questions, it was really hard to keep that composure, because he wasn't being honest. He wasn't giving us the truth. But then again, I don't think he really knows the truth.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it was pretty. I watched the video, and I think you did a great job. I mean, from what I've seen, I think you did an excellent job. I don't think you have nothing to be ashamed of. Trust me, that is a very unique situation you had there, and I think you made the most of it. Because I like how you went in there and you kind of buttered him a little bit. Hey, it's the guy himself. And giving him all.
I said they called him a legend.
Yeah, the legend here, Mr. Jim Cramer.
He's a legend for some things, and good or bad.
Then I like
inverse Cramer effect.
He's signing the bottle for it. You go and grab the sign and bring it back, and he sees the FINRA fraud. He's like, oh,
I can't sign that.
You can't sign the FINRA fraud. Yeah, show him we got a lot of good bit of people in here now. Pick up the sign and show him the front and the back up close here.
So again, as we know on CNBC,
yeah,
he said he goes through and says MMTLP, which is his new favorite stock.
yep,
And then he cites caveat emptor, which means buyer beware, which was part of the what was listed on the OTC exchange and the listing after the U3 halt, calling it that extraordinary event.
Yeah.
You know, settlement issues. Where we know that it wasn't settled because it would have settled, there was no buying. There was no buying the next day, and everybody knew that if you bought it, you wasn't be getting anything. There was no buying.
Yeah.
It was close only position. And on the back,
there it is,
as our community has used before, hashtag FINRA fraud. You know,
there you go. Yeah, and it was funny. Fact, what was I going to say there? About the the MMTLP thing. God, I drew a blank. That don't usually ever happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the part, because when I went to go get the sign, because I put it off to the side.
Yeah.
The first thing he saw was hashtag FINRA fraud. It wasn't even the MMTLP part of it, and that's when he's like, I can't sign that, because I was joking. Like, I was like, Mr. Cramer, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Because when I went to go speak to him, I didn't have the sign in my hand.
Yeah.
Knowing that if I was there with the sign, he would have, knew right away where this was going.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, get a couple of seconds with him and make a couple photo bombs. And that was only my intention.
Yeah.
So he saw this first. And then I brought out this part, which, I thought was clever, using his own words. And then towards the end, as he was very standoffish and was just kept saying, I don't want to get in trouble. I uttered the words, et tu, Brute.
Yeah.
Which, right there and then, as you know, he was talking about us on CNBC, and he was quoting Caesar and Brutus.
Yeah.
So he's the one that brought it up. So I kept saying "et tu, Brute," and I think right there and then, that's when everybody knew, okay, we don't want this to go any further, and I didn't want it to go any further. I just wanted to come up there, have a couple questions, be able to go a little bit viral, and it did. And I actually want to do a shout out, because there was a gentleman. I want to pull up his name real quick. OD Green.
Yeah.
Yes, OD Green. This guy, he like, I put this out. I'm part of the community. I've been there since day one. I'm an OG torch holder, and I just wanted to make sure that I threw something out, but I didn't want this to go crazy. I just was hoping to do a little something fun, and OD Green saw my post, and he just went with it. He texted me, he DM'd me, and he was like, bro, this is hilarious. I love it. I'm going to make you famous. And I was like, okay, it's just parody. It was just one quick little thing, but he wouldn't give it up. He actually told me that he DM'd Berta himself. Yeah. And then Berta retweeted it, and then I spoke to Drew on the behind the scenes about it, and they wanted to bring me up in spaces, and I was like, when this started going big, we had bigger things to talk about during the day. Yeah. We had our oral arguments, and we had a decision, and there was a lot of things going on. So I was like, let me stay back a little bit, because this is only for fun. This is not the important stuff.
And that's why we wanted to do this live stream.
You reached out to me, but OD Green is the one, and I can't wait to see that gentleman and meet him face to face, because I wouldn't be here with you today if it wasn't for that. That guy.
And believe it or not, OD Green Trader is the first one that I actually seen of the post of your video, your pictures and stuff, was his post. And then I saw Berta retweeted it and put classic on it. So I had him, And then I think OD said, I confirmed it's real, when people were thinking like maybe that was just you like copy and pasted with Jim Cramer that, is this real? So it was
Right.
nice to get that confirmed that it was like legit. I mean, it's even more confirmed now that you're here.
Right.
So
That's what I kind of thought the funniest part of this whole thing, because I just, dropped it out.
yeah,
But then there was a little bit of mystery behind it.
there was.
People were calling it AI. People were saying, that, Cramer was in on it. First people thought one gentleman did it, and it wasn't me. So I was getting, I was enjoying being behind the scene, like, and then I know Jorel was actually, she did a little shout out, because I went onto the space on Saturday morning saying, hey, Cramer's going to be in Smithtown at this store. If there's anybody in the area, we can, please come on by, because it would have been cool that if not just me, if other people went as well, But, so Jorel then picked up on it after the fact. And she's like, hey, wait a second. I spoke to him and he threw it out there of I didn't give my full intentions. I just said, hey, Cramer's going to be out there and maybe we should stop on by.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm telling you, man, this one's going to be around for a while because it is just classic.
And it might not be the last.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, if he sees you coming up, he's going to be like, no.
Well, yeah, no. I'm done with Cramer.
Yeah.
If Jim Cramer, if you're listening now, you won't be seeing me ever again. Don't worry.
Yeah, and we just, we understand, like, he's probably given a script. He's probably just reading off a paper. But, like, you got to think, like, we're human beings behind this play, man. Like, that's the thing here. And before you go mocking our community, I think you need to understand what really happened with our situation. And that's what happens a lot of times with these people that will go on and just say, oh, they're meme traders, they're pump and dumpers, whatever, and they got caught holding the bag. Okay, but you're not looking into all the filings that were leading up to this. How it was stating certain dates were in place. FINRA and SEC approved these dates. And then when we follow the rules and were correct, and we were buying for the assets anyway, if the short squeeze never happened, that's fine. But still, there was a lot of people in this to the date that they gave us. And they took away 2 trading days. A lot of people didn't want to be trapped in a play. Who knows how long it'll take to sell the assets? Well, all this shadiness is going to make it a lot longer until it gets straightened out. So it's just the whole thing behind it. There was people probably coming in last minute, hoping to come in on a little bit of a short squeeze cash out. And then no one expected a U3 halt to basically freeze everyone's money. We're 188 days in. Our money's still frozen. And, like I said in my last few videos these last few weeks here, life happens. Had a huge issue here at the house. Basically got all the plumbing redone. I have an older house, so had to replace all the cast iron, all new PVC pipe. It was a mess. I have videos on my Twitter trying to share my personal story. There's a lot of people out there have more serious situations than what I do. But I could really use some money right now from that, to help get this situation resolved in my house. So it's a big inconvenience. It's just like, I would have never thought that our money would be locked up for this long. It's like, so where did all that money go that was frozen basically since the last day?
Yeah, no, and they're using that money to make money on our behalf.
Yeah.
Well, we should ask for that interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me refresh this chat here. I'm going to see if anyone wants to drop in some questions. We'll take a couple questions here. We want to keep it happy. We want to keep it positive. We don't want any kind of crazy questions, guys. Let's see here. Pop in some questions, guys, from either me or Mr. Bjammin. If you want to ask him some questions about his experience, I'll read them off here to him. Let's see here. It is a little late for the live stream, but we still got it showing 60.
We got the West Coast people.
Oh, yeah. East Coast is probably mostly in bed right now. All right, let's see here. I'm going to scroll back up here. I think we'll get definitely probably a lot of people leaving comments on the actual video itself when they get up tomorrow and over the weekend. People have more time to watch it. But that'd be really nice. People get to catch up on it there. I don't know if YouTube's messing up, but I don't have, it's not showing like anyone chatting, which is definitely weird. And I know people would be saying something. All right, just to make sure the chat is working right on YouTube, could you all just type, oh, here we go. All right, so EA has a general question here just saying, so where do we go from here? I'll give my thoughts and just kind of keep doing what we're doing. Keep, calling Congress. Keep, being respectful, being polite. If we have an opportunity to get our ticker symbol, our situation out there, like what Bjammin here did, and now we spread that out, people see that. Getting our word out, getting our name out, getting our stories out, our situation out, and hopefully get this out so much that they get tired of hearing it. FINRA and the SEC, they just get tired of this because it just doesn't go away.
Right. Well, what I think, we need more citizen journalists. We need people like Frankie Nez. We need, I forget the other gentleman that also did a great story on us as well. But we need James O'Keefe. We need Charles Payne. Legacy media is done. We know they've been infiltrated, and we know they don't stand with us. They oppose us. Not just us as a MMTLP community, but as a people as a whole. They're not there to help us. So we need more citizen journalists like Frankie Nez.
Oh yeah,
and we need more Substack articles. We need more Twitter feeds. We need more we need this to go more viral through people like you and me to get the message out.
Yeah, in my opinion, and I even said this before, I think Twitter Spaces is going to overtake like regular news.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
I really believe that's the future of where it's going. I mean, you got Tucker Carlson leaving and going to go there, and all this, and I just see that. I mean, you see these Twitter Spaces. It just seems more, you can be interactive, you can get constant speakers, and, TV production is a whole different ball game. Twitter Space, you can do what you want on there. And it's just easy on the mobile app, and it's just convenient for a lot of the younger generation to do the Twitter Space and, have to watch a show on TV. And I can see that transitioning for sure, where we're going to see a lot of people moving over to Twitter and hosting Twitter Spaces.
The last few years have been eye-opening. Great awakening is happening on many different levels, and journalism is the forefront of how we can spread the truth and the message without the barriers of who owns the media and who will gain from what narratives they want to push.
Oh yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna give we got a question from BTK, and he says, "What does Jim Cramer have anything to do with MMTLP anyway?" Well, I'll let you go.
Frankly, he has nothing to do with MMTLP. All he was as we were going into congressional meetings, as we were going into the New York Supreme Court for our petition, all he was as a messenger to come out as a hit piece, just like Wall Street Journal. All he was to tout out onto the media that we didn't know, that we are we are mean traders, that were conspiracy theorists, that we don't know what we were doing, and to make it that what FINRA has did nothing wrong, that what we are talking about makes no sense, which is far from the truth.
And just to sum it up here too, for BTK, Jim Cramer was on live TV and made his hit piece on national television. So that is what Jim Cramer has to do with MMTLP. Do we think he knows the situation? I don't believe he does. I believe he was just handed a script on a piece of paper and someone said, here, read this. He read it and that's what it was. So that's what Jim Cramer has to do with this. He was on national TV bashing our situation, mocking our situation. All right, let's see here. We got a couple. Here's an interesting one. Mr. Pascal says, can share prices be worth 500 to 1,000 realistically if blue sheets get released? Well, let's put it this way. My personal opinion, if the U3 halt never happened, I mean, there was proof that this was going to hit like 4,000 a share. There was the level 2 data to back that. Do I ever think it could go to that price now? It's going to be really tough, because if this ever would become trading again, I don't know if even Congress would even let it go that high. I don't know. Like, there would probably be very strict, rules in place, because they wouldn't want to, collapse the economy,
well,
to say the least.
Well, I would somewhat respectfully disagree with that, because supply and demand in a fair market, price doesn't matter. As a short seller, you have the risk on your end is unlimited, and with the amount, we don't know if it's 100 million, 500 million, a billion. It could be more, for we all know. And yes, if we were to open up trading and there were rules in place, but that's the problem. Like, if you open up MMTLP or NextBridge or some fashion, how do we even know that they're gonna play by the rules?
Oh yeah.
We have, like, even if there are strict criteria that are set in forth, there was strict criteria that was set before this, and they changed the rules going into it. Yeah. So no one knows. Yeah. No one knows, just like no one knows what the price would have been, or no one knows what the price could be.
Oh yeah.
Because supply and demand is the ultimate factor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we know they're never going to play by the rules, and the only way that would ever happen is if Congress made it happen, and they had no choice, because Congress has an order out there that tells them you need to do this and this is how you're going to do it, and then they have no choice but to do it, because then FINRA can't step in, the SEC can't step in, because Congress has that order out there. They say you're going to do this way, get this cleared up, whatever it costs. Then you can see some crazy prices, because we're going to find out, and if anyone's still holding a short position, there needs to be jail time in place. That will get those people, because that was a point that in one of Tony Market Move's videos, I'll never forget it. How much is your freedom worth? You know what I mean? How much is your freedom worth? For these big hedge funds that hold these big positions, and they need to buy it back from us, is what they need. And they need to get it to a price that we're comfortable to sell them our shares. We're not forced to sell them. They have to make us feel happy at a price that say, hey, I'll sell you some shares at this price.
Let the market play it out as it sees. Some people are happy at one, other people will hold out. And you know what? And if they hold out and they go into NextBridge, so be it. Yep. I would love to be in NextBridge right now. I love the company go in, and that was always my stop loss. Yep. That was a lot of our stop loss, because we did our DD. we knew what would held, and we knew the potential from a sale or production, and the opportunity to have passive income from the sale of oil. I I would have loved, and at this point in time, they've taken that away from me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of these, I guess, broadcasters, people on TV, they just don't understand that if the U3 halt was never in place and this just went out the way it was and there was no short squeeze, I personally would have been okay with it because they gave dates. And if they could prove that, hey, all the short positions were closed, and they say you got up to the day that, Next Bridge filed for in the S1, and no short squeeze happened, perfectly fine. Send us all to Next Bridge. But they can't send us all to Next Bridge because there's a reason they don't send us to Next Bridge.
And that's the point that I can't fathom, that the fact that we purchase something was never delivered to us, and then they stonewall us.
Yeah.
They hold us up in the courts. They, Rosa, her case, it just seemed like she had it nailed down. That was such a beautiful delivery, and the judges just didn't want to,
Yeah.
go forward, and they use precedent, and they use all these arbitrary things without looking at the facts, because they're scared. They don't want to be the person that brings down these regulatory branches that supersede them when it comes to power and influence. And and it's unfortunate. Our judicial system, our executive branch, our congressional, all these entities are supposed to be working for us, and it just seems like they're working against us.
Oh yeah.
And I just hope that everything, not just in the financial markets, but everything just comes to where us as human beings can just make progress and come together. And we are in a huge line in the sand. As FINRA says, their line in the sand is giving us the blue sheets.
Yeah.
We're in the line in the sand as a civilization, as a world, where we need to figure out what's going on. And I don't want to get too political, and I don't want to, but we need to come together as humanity.
Absolutely, man.
Take a little sip.
Let's see here. All right, yeah, we've been going here for a little over 45 minutes, so I think it's getting late. I think we'll call it an end here. I want to thank everyone that's been in the live chat. If you're watching this on the replay, go down, leave a comment, smash the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Go check out Bjammin over here on Twitter. Let me pull up his account here real quick. All right, so on Twitter at BENZITO42. Guys, go follow him. He has 149 followers. We need to get him up over that, guys. Come on, go follow him here on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, go give him a follow. So, all right, we're going to end this live stream. And amazing work, man. Can't wait to see what you come up with next. We'll have you back here in a few months. We'll touch base on what's going on in the events and keep everyone up to date what's going on. So,
guys, tuned. I'm full of ideas.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for this. Love and appreciate every single one of you all. Peace.
Peace.